Hello and welcome to Microsoft Hates Greg. My name is Greg Deckler, and I got to tell you, yesterday was a weird day. Right? It's not every day that you wake up and are personally attacked, like viciously personally attacked, online. It's doesn't happen to me very often, I gotta say. But yesterday it did. It came from this Daniel guy, right? And he he sits there. He apparently he writes this blog article, right, specifically calling me out, and using measure totals are broken, which I'm the only person that uses that, right? So he originally used my IP, like my banana pickle math picture here, right? And he's calling me a troll. Right, so this is what he's doing, even though that was never the intention of the Measure Total meme campaign, which ended 6 months ago. Anyway, we're gonna table the whole personal attack thing um, for later. But you're free to personally attack me. That's fine if you want to be that guy, right? But you better expect what's coming next. Okay, like be prepared and no whining and crying. And this is gonna factor in. There's a huge announcement at the end of this video, but we're gonna table this whole personal attack business for the time being. And we're going to get back to this whole measure total as our broken, not broken debate, which has been, for the love of God, people, this has been going on for years and years and years. I'm sick of the whole conversation, to be honest. This article adds nothing to the debate, right? I've already had this debate with people that are far smarter than this guy, right? The Mario brothers, of SQL BI fame, right? That had this debate like 3 years ago, right? I've got a whole playlist on my channel, right, about this debate, right? And I've got, this article is from 9 years ago dealing with measure totals, right? And this one's from 7 years ago. But no, this guy and his ilk, his lackeys that are on this thread, right? They're sitting there telling me I am stupid and I don't know what the heck I'm talking about, and I've never thought through this problem before. It's like we'll get into it, right? But whatever. So I'm loath to rehash like this debate with people that are less smart than people I've already debated this with. Okay, so I'm going to give you the highlights of the measure total. Are broken, right? Why are they broken? Well, because the measure total issue in Power BI is no different. It's the same for all software products in this category. Okay, it's the same. Okay, and all major software products in this category have solved this problem with UI, not code. Okay, Tableau has level of detail, right? Click has a basically it's a drop down. You can say, hey, I don't want the default way to calculate this. I want it to aggregate the rows, right? They've all solved this problem, right? Power BI stubbornly has not. Okay, so call it what you will. Power BI measured totals are broken, are inferior to their competition, are less than, call it what you pick an adjective, pick a verb. I chose broken, okay? And I'm sticking with it because they're broken, okay? They're inferior and broken compared to all of their other products that are in this space. All right? So, all these arguments from everybody like, "Oh, no, this is the way they should work," and blah 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 and blah blah. Well, obviously, a lot of smart people were like, well, we should give the user the option because there's situations that come up where you need to have the option, right? And I'll show you a very simple one, right? Here we go. This is from like an episode of episode 27 DAX for Humans, which is coming out. I'm going to release them on, I think, on Wednesdays, one per week, right? So here it is. Like you have the price of bananas changing over time, right? And you have to calculate the sum of the price, right? The total cost. You want the total cost of all of this information in your fact table. Now you're saying, Greg, you're stupid. This is a data modeling problem, right? You need to create a Power Query column for this. Well, no, 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 that's not best practice, right? Because these columns have low cardinality. And if you create a total cost column in Power Query for billion row fact table, now you have very high cardinality, and that is against best practice. Best practice is keep your low cardinality columns, and you create a DAX measure, right? Can't create a DAX column because DAX columns are verboten, right? Can't use those because you have to be it's a stupid idiot to use a DAX calculated column according to the experts. So what you're left with is a measure, right? So and this is a simple measure to create sum of price table times sum of table quantity. And because I've aggregated, right, by the things that I want to aggregate in my table, which is by item and date, right, as a user, right? Now I have these, this is all correct for the line items, but the total is wrong. And total is way wrong, okay? In this case, it's obviously wrong. Not obviously wrong in all cases, okay? So what is the solution to this, right? The solution is not create a little toggle and, do it that way. No, you have to write fairly sophisticated DAX code. And this is fairly sophisticated. Now, it's not really sophisticated DAX code, but it's fairly sophisticated. Probably not something that the average user is going to get first time. And I say that because you have to know the rules of DAX, right? It's best practice to add the columns outside of the summarize, right? Not inside the summarize, even though summarize lets you do it, and it's probably going to be right. Like there are cases where it could be wrong. So you have to do it outside of the summarize. You create your table variable, then you do an average X across it, right? Or whatever aggregation that you want, right? Because in this case, I was doing average versus sum, but I can change that to sum, because this is all part of the episode. So this is at the end of the episode. Change this to sum X, right? And hit enter here. And now we have the correct total, right? Correct total, correct total, correct total. This is the essence of the measure totals problem. And every other product in the category has solved this with a UI interface. In this article that this Daniel dude wrote, adds nothing to this debate whatsoever. Nothing that's not already been covered umpteen million times, except for one particularly stupid argument, okay? And this actually, surprisingly, ends up being Microsoft's official position. So you read the thread, and they make this argument, and it's stupid, and it's obviously stupid, and then Microsoft like chimes in, yep, that's our official position. And the official position from Microsoft and this Daniel guy is that users are too stupid to use a toggle and a dropdown. They're too stupid to know how they want their totals to be calculated. This is their argument. Now, just saying that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Like, and now here's one example. So using Power BI, you're expected to understand dimensional modeling. You're expected to understand how to construct a proper star schema. You're expected to understand all of the inner workings and intricacies of using the calculate function, one of the most crazy complicated functions ever created, right? So you're smart enough to understand how to do all of these things, but you're too stupid to use a toggle and a drop down, right? How ridiculous is that, right? And let's go even one step further, right? One step further on this and how ridiculous this argument is, right? So what Microsoft's official position is, if we create under here this total, we create a toggle and a dropdown, it's going to cause mass pandemonium and chaos and confusion. That's because users are too stupid to understand how to use it, right? This is their official position from Microsoft. Jay, what's his name, right? The guy that lied to everybody about teal being for accessibility reasons, which is the most shameful thing I've ever witnessed in my professional career, but whatever, right? So we're not here to talk about that. So they're too stupid to use this, but they're smart enough, right? This is Microsoft's official position. They're smart enough to recognize that this is a problem, right? And take action to resolve that problem. The action that they're apparently smart enough to take is to write complex DAX code, right? So they're smart enough to do this, but they're not smart enough to use a toggle and a dropdown. Now, if that isn't the most stupid argument that I've ever heard, most moronic thing that I've ever heard in my life, I don't know what is, right? So hopefully we can put all that to bed, right? I personally think that users are smart enough to use a toggle and a dropdown when they have a wrong total that they know is wrong. That is not what I want. I want this. How do I get this? Oh, I can go to the UI. That's good UI design versus lazy. Totally lazy. I'll just leave it to the code. Most lazy design ever. Okay? Now let's get back to this personal attack. I have so much to cover here. And this is going to be great. So anyway, first thing up, right? I've already explained how this is obviously a personal attack on me, right? So one of the first things I do is and this Daniel guy, apparently this Daniel guy wrote some open source software, right, for the community, right? Good community thing to do. I've done the same, right? I've written all kinds of blog articles and I've written all kinds of quick measures. I have over 7,000 solutions, on the forums and all this other stuff, all things that you do for the community, right? Free of charge, right? Well, then this guy, he's like, oh, this is my IP. This is my IP. I need to protect it, right? my IP. So he goes and protects and makes it closed source. Charges like 9 times the original price of Power BI for this tool, right? That now he's protecting his IP. So he clearly understands intellectual property, but then he goes out and steals my intellectual property. And maybe you think my intellectual property sucks, but it's banana pickle math. It's known in the community, right? I've used it throughout the meme campaign. So it's a known thing. And I created that image. It's not a screenshot, people. I created it in Paint. All right. Created it. Okay. It's my creative work. It's my IP. But he's like, oh no. Just like Microsoft can go around and steal books, steal my books, steal other people's books, right? This guy has no qualms about going and stealing other people's IP, right? Just don't steal my IP. But what a hypocrite! What a kind of scummy thing to do, quite honestly, right? So that's the first thing. So I call him out on it. I don't really care, to be honest. It was just a good excuse to, like, yet again poke a finger in the eye of Microsoft about them stealing my books. And it was good. It was a fun thing to, like, sort of like make fun of him about. Like, there you go. So there's the first thing, right? So, and it's just amazing. And so it's just so incredible to me that this guy like wants to personally attack me for I've never done anything to this guy, right? I think where it started was there's a rotating, like, I think there's a rotating thing with the MVPs where, every month they have to draw straws, and whoever gets the short end of the straw, they have to post about how great the monthly update's going to be, right? They don't all want to do it all the time because then, they don't want to be that big of simps, right? They're just, normal type of simps. Right. So anyway, so he had made this post, and I think there were some people out there. Oh, what did they do? Fix totals? Right? It wasn't me. I didn't do that. It was other people. But now, then he gets a stick up his ass and like wants to call me out and personally attack me. And then all his lackeys pile on, right? And they're calling me stupid. Like I've never actually thought about this issue or anything else, even though history is against them on this. Okay, history is against them. I've thought longer and deeper about this issue probably than most, I would say. So yeah, they just all pile on, and they call me stupid and call the user stupid, and this one guy is really crass and just calling everybody, and blah blah blah, whatever. I don't care, right? But reality is this is BS, right? And I don't have to take it lying down, right? It wasn't even a second thought that I was going to make this video, not even a second thought. So what to do about this, right? So apparently this guy is doing this, right, in order to bring awareness that measure totals are not broken. I can't have him doing that, right? I spent 2.5 years, right, talking about how measure totals are broken, right? Which is the crazy thing about all of this is that I stopped that meme campaign like over 6 months ago. And here he is provoking me, right? Well, there's only one thing to do. Bring it back. So I'm bringing back the meme campaign, the daily meme campaign. It's coming back, right? Because 2 reasons: spite, and if this guy's trying to bring awareness that measure totals aren't broken, well, I'm just going to undo that, right? You like instant karma, buddy, right? He's like, oh, I'll bring awareness to I'm going to undo that tenfold, okay? Tenfold. I've got like 25, 30,000 followers, right? This guy's got 5 or something, right? I'm just going to bring back the meme campaign and totally bury this guy's messaging. Like, let sleeping dogs lie, Daniel. Like, let sleeping dogs lie, man. I've tried to kill this meme campaign twice now. And Microsoft and this idiot, right? They want to pull me back in. Well, if you want to pull me back in so bad, so be it. It cost me nothing, Daniel. It cost me nothing, right? I've already got 2.5 years, 2.5 years of memes all ready to go. All ready to go. I don't have to do anything. It costs me 30 seconds a day to post this on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and on Blue Sky. So good job, Daniel. You have awoken this yet again, and I'm going to undo anything that you thought you were doing with this article, right? Out of pure malicious spite, because I am a broken, flawed human being, and I don't care to admit that. I don't care if I admit that or not. So there you have it. For all of you people that love the meme campaign, you can thank Daniel here for bringing it back. And for all of you people that despise the meme campaign, you can thank Daniel here for bringing it back. That is all I had for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.